of social work in other important offices and functions in the university. So the first person I'd like to introduce is Ms. Elisa Liggett. She's the Executive Director of Student Conduct and Academic Integrity. And I'm going to let her define exactly what she's going to do.
Thank you. And I first want to honor you for going into this field. Thank you. You might be like, why in the world does student conduct and academic integrity come talk to us? Because we're in social work. Usually, when we talk to the MSW students tomorrow, we're going to talk about all the crazy things people do that when they're sitting in this chair, they think, I would never do that. And then like 3,000 students later, they're one of them. But the reason that we're here, the reason we come to talk to you is because this issue happens on the back end. What I mean is that you are going into a field that if you have an empty cup, you cannot pour from it. So you are constantly in this position of needing to be firmly grounded in your integrity and the decisions that you make. When do we see MSW students? Tragically, when stress hits, the bottom falls out, and then they end up with a drug offense or Adderall or whatever it might be. And the odd thing about that is everybody sitting in this room knows what to do to make sure to tend their garden, but it doesn't always mean that it happens. And since you are in a field that has a certificate that has an ethics code, which makes me have so much respect for you, the worst thing that can happen is that you end up with a record from our office. Now, as long as I'm feeling a little bit catty today, people who can afford in graduate school to end up in our office and have some of the higher rates, who do you think? What college? Business. What? Education? Low. Social work? Low. The people who are the helpers? Thank goodness. Low. Don't be a business student. If they found out I said this, oh my God, you cannot repeat it. But, I mean, everything from alcohol hospitalizations, businessmen, frighteningly. So, I mean, it helps us outreach a lot. But they don't have as much at stake as you do. And so it's important enough to your college to invite us to come talk about what the catastrophic outcome is that might be different for you. I will tell you it's different for you than a business student. So please know we are here to help though. Now what do you think is the main reason people get referred for academic integrity violations? What do they do themselves that gets them into that situation most commonly, you think? Plagiarism, yes, that is number one. But what's the behavior behind it? Lack of time management. That 2 a.m. desperate feeling of, oh my God, this is due at 8 a.m. and there's no way I can have it ready. So just indulge me. Give me 3 other things you can do other than start going down that rabbit hole of, I'm going to cheat or pull something off the internet. What are 3 things you can do? Yes, on the front end plan. Yes, and that is the goal. We use Student Success Center and use a lot of other resources that are here and they're free. But let's say it is 2 a.m. Yes. Email your professor. And if I was going up to an instructor, here's what I get that I don't like. Oh my God, you won't believe what happened. First, my dog ran away, and then my stepmom's cat's brother-in-law. Do you think your instructor cares? They care, but not in that moment, right? Walking up and saying, you said on the first day this was due. I didn't get ahead. 2 a.m. came, I am so sorry. May I bring to you a copy of this by 5 p.m. and take a letter grade reduction? Be contrite and find a solution. If you were the instructor and you have 1,000 things going on and somebody says, here's my problem and here's my solution, just nod. You're indulging them in what they need by saying, here's how I think we should solve this right now. So please, if you get in that moment, know that especially social work instructors have the biggest hearts of any instructors in this whole campus. I think. But please know there are so many other options to it with a grade reduction. Thirdly, we have a behavioral intervention team. So students in many cases hit some unforeseen challenge and they need some help. We have a behavioral intervention team that was started even before the tragedies at Virginia Tech, so that if people were worried about someone, even though we have over 30,000 students, there's no chance someone will fall through the cracks. So even though there are a lot of optional things like the counseling center, we have tons of resources that are free and confidential. We also have, if you're worried about someone, you've talked to them, you're seeing them kind of disintegrate, feel free, send them to our behavioral intervention team. It's an online form. This is really confusing. Are you ready for it? sc.edu, probably already knew that, /fit. You guys look like you got this down. All you have to do is type in fit in the Google as well. We'll get you right there. So please know we are here because we want you to be successful. I don't think our world can revolve without social workers. So we're here to help you and be behind the scenes. Again, hopefully preemptively in any way that we can help, but also if something falls out in the back here, we're here to help. But most of all, if you are tending your garden and you know when you start to slip and you reach out for those resources, know that people want to help and we will do anything that we can. Any question I can answer? Welcome, and thank you for your time.
Thank you for saying that. Yes, we really want you to succeed, and yes, we are here for you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, next, we have Charlotte Helms, Disability Resource Coordinator. It does happen sometimes that you come to graduate school aware of or discover in the process of being a graduate student that you have somebody with disability resources. And Ms. Helms is your go-to.
I'm one of four. Yeah. Naomi and I know each other. So, welcome to USC, especially if you've never been here before. Some of you are probably undergrad students here. So welcome back. But what we do in our office is we want to assist students to be successful. If you have a documented disability, even though you think we cannot assist you, please come talk to us. Online form to fill out, you attach your documentation to it, and then you can meet with somebody. I have had so many graduate students come to me about halfway through their program, and they say, I wish I had done this earlier. They're coming because they've gotten themselves, like Elisa said, you've gotten yourself in a rabbit hole. We can help from that day forward. We can't go back and fix. But as Naomi and I talk about a good bit, we're here for you. You know, you are graduate students. You are in a program to learn how to help, right? Well, guess what? Part of that population that you're going to help may have a disability. So, learning about our office, using our office to help you be successful is a good thing, because you can tell them at one point, I've been there. But we want to help you. We do things like extra time on test. Master's level don't always have many tests, and we know that. But we can work with you on other accommodations. So, we're here. We want to help you. You know, the faculty in the MSW program know us well, because we're here for you. If you think you want to talk to us, call our office. Our number is 803-777-6142. They can answer questions, but if you have been diagnosed with a disability, you have the documentation, go ahead and apply. You don't have to use all the accommodations, but we can help you get to where you want to be. Any questions? No? Ms. Naomi?
Thank you so much.
All right, we're going to go slightly out of sequence, but that's okay. Chris Coolidge, come on up. We have a stellar counseling center and wellness program with a variety of services. And we have here one of our counselors who is himself an MSW, correct? To talk with you about how to think about how to use the services for your benefit and success. Mr. Coolidge.
Let me ask, do you think y'all can hear my voice without me using the microphone? No, okay. So, turn it over. Okay, y'all, somebody gave this to me. This says a lot about me. Hourglass, right? Didn't trust it was truly an hourglass, so I timed it. It's a 27-minute hourglass. It's not even an hour, it's a 27-minute glass. But I'm going to hold this the whole time because I want you to be thinking about this one thing. So I graduated from this program 10 years ago. So my experiences in this program, time's gonna pass pretty quickly. Time might pass more quickly than you imagine sitting in this orientation today. If you have come to this time in your life with some concern, there is no better time than now to deal with that concern. If, like happened to me while I was in graduate school, some pretty difficult matters happened to you, no better time than now to deal with those circumstances. Time is going to pass pretty quickly. I think I've already used about 2 minutes of my 10 minutes here. I even have a little line here saying, Chris, you got to stop at that time. So I'm going to hold this all the time. Thank you very much. So I do work at the USC Counseling Center. Actually, that's where I did my training as an MSW. Fortunately, I had a chance to keep working there. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about the Counseling Center with an emphasis on you appreciating that, as others have said, we are there for you in times that you're challenged. So I'm going to answer these questions. What do we do? Who seeks our services? Who are the providers? How can you access our services? What's the initial way most people get into our services? What about confidentiality? What about it? That's an important question. And then lastly, Naomi just asked me to just sort of summarize some other kinds of services you might not think we have. So first of all, what are the things we offer? We offer initial screening appointment for any student who has any kind of concern. It may not wind up that you'd be a client at our counseling center, because screening means maybe we find out you need something other than our counseling center. But anybody who needs a screening consultation with our screening counselors can do that. It's usually like a 30-minute appointment to kind of find out what your deal is and what might be most helpful to you. So we do this. We certainly have a tremendous number of students who come to our center and do that screening, become clients at the counseling center, so we offer individual counseling. Now you're all going to be trained in doing group counseling. We have an incredibly robust group counseling program. People think, oh, I just need to talk to Chris or talk to some other person. Oftentimes, group counseling would be the best thing you could do for yourself. So individual counseling, group counseling. We do have relationship counseling. Some people come into this time of their life with a partner, things aren't working out so well, do a lot of couples or relationship type counseling off of that as well. We certainly have crisis appointments. If something happened to you tomorrow that rocked your world, you could walk into the counseling center and do like a crisis appointment with one of our clinicians. We offer that. We have psychiatric services. Now, I must admit, I tend to think in our country we're handing out way too many pills. But nonetheless, some people certainly benefit from those medications. We have our own psychiatric staff. And let me say this. Our psychiatrists, in fact, are incredibly disciplined about making good decisions about whether a person needs medication or not. And so we are not pill-pushing people at the counseling center, which is a good thing. You know, if you go to our counseling center, you wind up speaking with one of our psychiatrists, they're going to be very thoughtful about what is actually most helpful to you from the medication standpoint. Lastly, we do offer opportunities for any staff, faculty, parent, friend, anybody who might have a concern about somebody they know who is a student. Could call up our counseling center and even anonymously talk with one of our clinicians and say, look, this is what's happening. I'm just wondering if you have some kind of guidance or perspective that you can offer. So even that's available at our counseling center. You can also walk in and do such a thing as that. So that's kind of the ranges of our services. Who seeks our services? You do. People just like you, in the hundreds, even the thousands, come to our counseling center. Now why? Why would people come to our counseling center? Because life happens to them. Just like it's going to happen to you. Now secondly, I would say this, and I know Naomi sometimes emphasizes it. You guys, why would you come to our counseling center particularly? Because you need to have your act together if you're going to be a social worker. You need to have your act together. Now that doesn't mean in one day you need to have it together, but you need to have it together. The counseling center can help you out with that particularly important task, getting your act together. Who are our providers? We got social workers just like me, clinical social workers, LISWs. We got me. We got counselors who've been trained here typically at the USC Counselor Ed program. We certainly have psychologists. We have psychiatrists. We even now have Indy, our little puppy who's walking around and providing emotional support for people. She even has her own office hours. She really does. She really does. See, I'm getting close to my hours. She really has her own office hours. So we got that. We also have trainees there. We have social work trainees. I'm supervising one now, as I've been for about the last 12 years. Counselor trainees, psychology trainees, psychiatry trainees. We're a training facility for therapists. But just so you know, don't ever let it dissuade you from coming to our center. Just because we have a trainee who's a social worker does not mean that person would ever be meeting you, have access to your information or anything like that. So it's totally confidential in that respect. How do you access our services? You can call and make an appointment for one of those screening appointments. Now you can actually, if you're a brand new client to the counseling center, in this day and age, it's all online, right? So you can actually go online through My Health Space and schedule one of those screening appointments if it's your first time to ever come to the counseling center, which maybe would be true for a lot of y'all. So try to make it convenient. You can also walk into our center if a crisis is occurring. But let me just tell you this. Lots of people come into our counseling center. The best way you could probably deal with that is by making an appointment to come in for one of those screening appointments. So keep that in mind. Already mentioned about confidentiality. Just let me say it again. That is our ethical duty to keep things confidential. You're not going to be working with a social work student. Might not even work with me. But we are going to keep all that information confidential. Nobody in this department learns that you come to us. Nobody at the school knows that you come to us. It's a confidential service for your benefit. Okay, lastly, as I'm getting right up to the time. So what else do we provide? Guys, when I was in graduate school, here's one thing I felt like. I felt like I was in a bubble the whole time. Like basically, go to class, go to my field placement, go home and study. That seemed to be my life. But unfortunately, I didn't realize there was so much more going on in this university and that there are services. So let me just remind you about a few quick little things. Student health services, of which the counseling center is a part, also offers these kinds of things. Did you know we have nutritionists on staff who will do nutrition consultations with you? I haven't been one of those because I'm way too skinny. Do you know that we have meditation and mindfulness workshops? The day that you tell yourself you're too stressed out as a student, you probably need to come over to the Center for Health and Well-Being and maybe do like a meditation or mindfulness workshop, free of charge. Did you know we have a sexual health staff clinician? That person's sole training and focus is on helping students with their sexual lives. And probably for lots of you, that could be an important thing to keep in mind. That person does consultations. You know there's like free safe sex equipment over there, if that's what you want to call it. STI testing. This is right out there for you. Sexual health. Do you know we have a stress management consultant? You feel like you're so stressed out, go talk to somebody about that stress. And in the process, pet Indy the dog. She will definitely chill you out a little bit. Lastly, do you know USC offers tobacco cessation programs and consultation? It's all there for you all. And now my time has ended, and so I am going to wish you well. And remember, time is passing quickly. There's no better time than now to get your lives together. Thank you for your time. Okay, well, if there are any questions, usually there's not too many questions. Oh, that looks like maybe a question back there.
Is it accessible for part-time students?
Okay, so that's a good question. Now, maybe take a little bit of what I say with a little bit of grain of salt, because sometimes I don't know all the business aspects. But if you are a student at USC, if you have paid your student health fee, then you are eligible to get 10 free counseling sessions through the counseling center. Now, if you're somewhere else, like up in Greenville, I don't believe there's any services up there counseling that you can access. So when I talk about counseling center services, I'm talking about here at USC's campus. If you have not paid the student health fee for some reason, you are still eligible to use our services, but you'd have to pay for those services. Oh, yes.
So if you have a different insurance provider because you didn't need the student health insurance, would you have to pay still for USC? Or would you have to pay your insurance?
Well, again, so if you have paid your health fee at USC and you're a student, you're eligible to get like counseling services for free, regardless if you have insurance. The way that insurance typically is helpful to students, as I best know it, is if you go past those 10 individual counseling center sessions that are provided by your health fee, then you have to pay for those sessions, and you either pay out of your pocket or you could pay through your health insurance. The psychiatry services do have a fee associated with them. Honestly, I can't remember all those different fees, but typically people need to use insurance to pay for medications and those kinds of things.
But if you call the office, they will have all the specific answers.
Somebody a lot smarter than me about all that kind of stuff would help anybody who wants to know those kinds of things. Division of labor. Thank you so much, family. Okay, any other questions? Okay, now, does this person in the first row not have any questions for me? No questions? Okay, anyway, good luck, y'all. Be well.
Thank you.
I just wanted to add a question about the part-time students. Like I said, you basically help see you do have access to services here, but we are working on trying to find resources for you in those sites. And so right now we're looking into telehealth, telecounseling. We just have to work out all the details and how it's going to work out. So just
Any of y'all are Charleston students? I was part of the student counseling at college in Charleston. We have an extensive referral list. So if you ever need like referral, can't find one here, call that number, go online and look for it.
Can you go send it to me?
Sorry?
Can you send that information to me, so you'll be able to, a lot of services, a lot of referrals?
Yeah.
Can you send that to me? All right.
The coordinator in Charleston also has referrals and also in Greenville. So yes, so we'll make sure that those are disseminated. Thank you. Any other questions about that? Anything else? Okay. Yeah, you know, it's a wonderful service, the counseling center, and for those of us who are becoming mental health providers, it's a wonderful process of self-knowledge. I recommend it highly. Thank you. Okay. I'm going to zip through some of these. Let me just say we had a change in the schedule. Dr. Carl Wells, the Assistant Director of Equal Opportunity Programs, isn't here now, and I don't know if something has come up. We will make sure, however, by hook or by crook, that you get the information that you would have gotten from him in person, right? We will make sure that that happens. Okay. I'm going to run through these. These are details that you do not need to memorize. You all have access to the PowerPoints, and there's tons of way you can get all of this information anyway. This is some sort of specific information about what we call academic progression. As graduate students, you can get credit with a grade as low as C, but you have to maintain a B average. Okay? Now again, hear this, you don't have to memorize it. We just want up front to make sure that you sort of have these, have this information. At the time that you graduate, and you're all going to have an MSW before you know it. It's just going to fly by. You have to have a cumulative GPA of 3.0. Okay? This is how we guarantee that your clients are going to be served well and competently. Okay? Now again, I'm not going to go over all of these regulations in detail. You have these slides, and if you have any questions, you will just talk to your academic advisors. Okay? So, am I going to hit the right thing? Right? All right. The important thing right now is think about how to avoid problems. There is lots of help if problems. Life is life, right? Who of us has come this far without a lot of problems? However, there are some ways to minimize some of the problems as well as lots of help for problems. The first thing I would tell you is this: please go to class and participate. You will find that your instructors have different policies. For example, I don't have a very stringent attendance policy. Some faculty have very stringent attendance policies. You have to be very clear about what each instructor expects. So, but go. You're paying all this money, you're even more investing so much. Go to class, okay? And tell your instructor if something happens and you can't. Life does happen. Go to class and participate. I will use myself as this is a terrible thing, as a counterexample. I went to the University of Michigan for my MSW. And I went to class sort of and participated sort of. And the big regret, just a few, 20 years, 30 years later, is that I didn't do more. So this is a self-revelation. Your faculty are wonderful, your colleagues are wonderful. Participating is going to deepen not only your experience, but your capacity to practice. So go to class and participate. Pay attention to your instructor's classroom rules. Okay, due dates, electronics. This is graduate school. We don't have written rules about everything that is in every class. Your instructors, by virtue of their own educational philosophy and preferences as professionals, have different rules about a variety of things in class. Pay attention to those. Ask questions. questions of your instructors and make sure you understand what each of your instructor expects. I think as you saw standing in front of you here, we're a really motley crew, right? With different styles, different ways of interacting with you, different expectations. Get to know your instructors and their expectations.